Welcome back to Secrets of Superpowers. Today, we journey to the coldest, most isolated place on Earth. A desolate continent shrouded in a permanent veil of ice and mystery, Antarctica. We are not talking about climate science or exploration. We are talking about a massive military and scientific secret born in the final, desperate years of the Third Reich. This is the story of Neu-Schwabenland, New Swabia. The enduring, chilling theory that Nazi Germany not only established a permanent base here, but that they built a hidden sanctuary, a technological fortress for their elite, a place where the war was never supposed to end. They allegedly transported their most advanced technology, their UFO prototypes, their archived gold, and their most valuable scientists to a secret subterranean base, often referred to as Base 211. Was this a final, insane escape plan? Or was it the beginning of a Fourth Reich? Today, we will dissect the timeline. We will examine the strange, real-life Nazi expedition of 1938. We will analyze the bizarre, overwhelming American response, Operation Highjump, led by the legendary Admiral Richard Byrd. Prepare yourself, because the secrets hidden beneath the ice are far stranger than fiction. This is the true, comprehensive story of Base 211 and the New Swabia mystery. The pre-war expedition of 1938, the official story of the Nazi presence in Antarctica, begins not during the war, but before it. In 1938, the Third Reich launched a costly and highly ambitious expedition to the frigid Southern Ocean. The mission was ostensibly scientific and economic, to establish a whaling base to secure vital fats for the German war machine, and to stake a claim on territory. The chosen region was a vast, ice-free area between 20 degrees east and 10 degrees west. They dispatched the ship Schwabenland, a heavily modified catamaran designed for launching aircraft. Captain Alfred Richer, the expedition leader, was a seasoned explorer, but the mission was heavily funded by Hermann Göring's four-year plan. Over several weeks, German seaplanes conducted thousands of photographic surveys, dropping iron swastika flags into the snow to claim the territory. This newly claimed area was immediately named Neu-Schwabenland, or New Swabia. What is highly unusual is the sheer scale of the mapping and the speed of the withdrawal. The Reich suddenly lost interest in whaling once the mapping was complete. Was this merely a territorial claim, or the preliminary survey for something much grander? This early, rapid activity laid the foundation for the entire subsequent mystery. The theory of Base 211, the central component of the New Swabia legend, is the secret facility known as Base 211. Or Station 211. The theory suggests that following the 1938 survey, the Nazis discovered geothermal heated zones, areas where volcanic activity keeps the subsurface rock warm, creating enormous, stable caverns deep beneath the ice. Between 1940 and 1944, it is alleged that a vast, secret construction project was underway. U-boats, specifically the long-range Type 9 U-boats, were supposedly used to ferry in construction materials, personnel, and vital supplies. Base 211 was envisioned as an impregnable underground city, a self-sustaining sanctuary designed to house the SS elite, top scientists, and the most advanced secret weapons technology of the Reich. The objective was simple: to ensure the survival of the Reich's technological superiority, even if Hitler's Europe collapsed. This was a doomsday project, a high-tech Noah's Ark designed to preserve the essence of the Third Reich for a later resurgence. The Base 211 concept turns the final defeat of Germany into a strategic relocation. Rather than an absolute failure, the mysterious submarine escapes, the theory of the Antarctic base gains crucial credibility from the mysterious movements of several German U-boats after the official surrender of Germany in May 1945. Point 2 specific submarines, U-530 and U-977, are central to this part of the narrative. Instead of surrendering immediately, both vessels sailed across the Atlantic. They eventually surfaced and surrendered months later in Mar del Plata, Argentina. The captains, Otto Wermuth, U-530, and Heinz Schäfer, U-977, gave surprisingly vague and contradictory accounts of their voyage. They claimed they had simply been operating under continuous orders and had no high-ranking passengers. However, both boats had modified long-range capabilities and were suspiciously empty of logs, torpedoes, and, crucially, of valuable cargo. Did these U-boats first travel to the icy shores of Neu-Schwabenland, delivering high-value cargo and a group of Nazi leaders, possibly even Adolf Hitler himself, as some theories suggest, before finally turning north to Argentina to surrender? The sudden, delayed appearance of these U-boats remains one of the most compelling pieces of circumstantial evidence. The role of Reich gold. If a base was established, what was transported there? Among the supposed cargo of the U-boats was a significant portion of the Reich gold, wealth looted from occupied Europe, including bank reserves and private valuables. The gold, alongside huge quantities of diamonds, artworks, and currency, was allegedly used for two purposes. First, to fund the continued operations of Base 211. Second, to establish the Ratlines and secure protection for high-ranking Nazis in South America through bribery. The amount of missing Nazi wealth is staggering, with billions of dollars unaccounted for to this day. While much of this gold likely financed the post-war escape routes to Argentina, Brazil, and Paraguay, some theories suggest that a massive reserve was deposited in the Antarctic bunker as a future war chest, that this secret gold would provide the financial backbone for the planned resurgence of the Reich, allowing them to buy materials, influence politicians, and fund their technological development in secret for decades. The missing gold is not just a treasure hunt. It's a fundamental part of the conspiracy's logistics. Operation Highjump, 1946 to 1947. The greatest piece of evidence supporting the existence of a post-war Nazi base is the extraordinary U.S. military mission known as Operation Highjump. This was not a simple scientific survey. Launched in 1946, immediately after the war, it was a massive, unprecedented deployment. 13 ships, 33 aircraft, and over 4,700 personnel. It was the largest expedition to Antarctica ever assembled. The mission was ostensibly a mapping and training exercise led by the celebrated polar explorer Admiral Richard E. Byrd. However, the scale of the invasion-level force suggests a far more urgent military objective. Why was the U.S. military mobilizing an entire battle group to the South Pole so soon after defeating the Axis powers? Many believe that U.S. intelligence had discovered, or at least highly suspected, that a significant group of the most dangerous German scientists and military figures had fled to Antarctica. Highjump was an attempt to locate neutralize, and capture the last remnants of the Reich. They weren't looking for ice. They were looking for an enemy outpost, Admiral Byrd's cryptic warnings. The true enigma of Operation Highjump lies not in its launch, but in its sudden, premature termination. The mission, planned to last 6 to 8 months, was dramatically abbreviated after only 2 months. Admiral Byrd returned hastily and, shortly after, gave a series of interviews that became cornerstones of the conspiracy theory. He spoke openly to the press in Chile, stating that the US faced the threat of an enemy that could launch an attack from the pole. He warned that a new war could be started by a fleet of flying objects that could fly from pole to pole at incredible speed. This statement, coming from a highly decorated admiral, was immediately seized upon. Did Byrd and his forces encounter resistance? Did they discover advanced Nazi technology, like the rumored Hornibus flying discs protecting Base 211? The official explanation for the mission's abrupt end was simply deteriorating weather conditions, a claim that many experts in Antarctic logistics found highly unconvincing given the expedition's resources. Byrd's chilling public comments transformed Highjump from a mission into a failed military encounter. Nazi UFOs and the Antarctic connection. The link between Neu-Schwabenland and UFO technology is an essential part of the legend. The theory suggests that the remote base was not just a hiding place, but a state-of-the-art research facility where German scientists perfected their anti-gravity aircraft. These aircraft, known as Hornibus and Vril, were disc-shaped, experimental devices. Though their existence as fully operational craft is heavily disputed by mainstream historians, Nazi documentation does confirm aggressive research into unusual propulsion systems. In Antarctica, away from Allied bombing and scrutiny, the scientists could supposedly utilize the vast energy reserves and isolation to complete these projects. But when Admiral Byrd spoke of flying objects that could traverse the poles, conspiracy theorists took this as direct confirmation that Base 211 was protected by a fleet of highly advanced, operational Nazi UFOs. These powerful craft were allegedly responsible for the sudden, unexplained loss of US aircraft and personnel during Operation Highjump. Geothermal anomalies and construction. How could an underground base survive the extreme cold of Antarctica? The Neu-Schwabenland theory relies heavily on the presence of geothermal heat sources. The German expedition of 1938 specifically surveyed an area near the Müller-Hoffmann Mountains, a range known to have significant geological anomalies and warmer zones, possibly linked to subsurface volcanic activity. This would create a warm heart beneath the ice, allowing for the construction of massive, climate-controlled caverns without the need for vast external heating. Melted ice water would also provide a constant internal supply of fresh water and hydropower potential. The idea of the base being constructed inside naturally occurring heated tunnels makes the entire operation logistically plausible. It moves the theory from mere fantasy into the realm of concealed, cutting-edge geoengineering, a final testament to the Reich's obsession with absolute security. The fate of the scientists and leadership. The final chapter of the Base 211 mystery concerns the fate of the personnel. If the base existed, it housed the most valuable assets of the collapsing Reich, top physicists, engineers, and, crucially, High-ranking SS officials who held the key to future dominance. Did they simply stay in Antarctica, living out their lives in the geothermal caverns, waiting for the right moment to emerge? Or was Base 211 merely a transfer point, a temporary stopover before they were moved, via submarine, to the established Nazi networks in South America? The truth is likely a combination. A core research team may have remained to continue the Wunderwaffe development, while the political leadership quickly moved to countries like Argentina and Paraguay. Using the established Ratlines. The base was perhaps not intended to be a government headquarters, but a technological seed bank, a place where the ideas of the Reich could germinate and evolve, unmolested by the victorious Allies. Conclusion and enduring legacy. The story of Neu-Schwabenland and Base 211 is a potent mix of historical fact, military action, and wild conspiracy theory. We know the 1938 expedition was real, and the US Operation Highjump was a massive, highly unusual military response. We know that U-boats surrendered suspiciously late in South America. Is it possible that the Reich, in its dying throes, managed to execute one last, gigantic technological transfer? Did they successfully launch a self-imposed exile to the icy heart of the world? The absence of definitive, declassified evidence makes it impossible to confirm Base 211. Yet, the story persists because it offers a narrative more compelling than simple defeat. It suggests that the most terrifying ideas of the Reich never died, but merely went into deep storage, waiting for their moment. The Antarctic base is the ultimate mystery of the post-war world. It transforms a lost war into a strategic retreat, and a dead dictator into a persistent, icy threat. Thank you for exploring the chilling secret of Neu-Schwabenland with us. The questions remain. What did Admiral Byrd really see? Did the U-boats carry gold, or something much more sinister? Let us know in the comments. Do you believe Base 211 is a historical fact, or the greatest science fiction cover-up of the 20th century? If this journey into the shadows of history captivated you, be sure to like this video and subscribe to Secrets of Superpowers. Next time, we will dive into a related and equally fascinating mystery, the lost Reich treasures, the hunt for billions in gold and art that vanished after the war. See you there.